Alright, today we're going to go a little level up above the last elimination we were doing. So let me remind you of what elimination is. That's when we have two equations. They're lined up in standard form. So that means our x's are over our x's, y's are over our y's, and then we've got these constants over our constants on the other side of the equals over here. And what we need to do is treat this like one big ol' addition problem. Now this one is set up for us, and our x's are already going to cancel. You see how you have a positive 4x down here and a negative 4x up here? That's what we're looking for, opposite coefficients, just like that. If that was not happening, we could multiply one of the equations to make it happen. But this one's good to go, so negative 4 and positive 4 cancel. I've got negative 2y and positive 8y here, which makes 6y. So negative 2 plus 8 is 6. Bring down your equal sign, and negative 12 plus a negative 24 make negative 36. Now we've got that one-step equation left. We have eliminated our x's. That's where the name comes from. And we can divide by our 6. So y is equal to negative 6. We have done half the work now. Now remember, all of these problems, these systems, they're two lines, and we're trying to figure out this point of intersection. So what I need to do is go and find out what the other half of this coordinate is. I only know the up or the down 6 part right now. So I get to pick my favorite equation. So we basically get to reset this. And do I want to use the first one or the second one? And for this one, I am going to choose this first one. A little bit lower numbers, that's why I'm choosing it. So I'm going to put in that this y is what it's equal to, negative 6. So I have negative 4x minus 2 times negative 6 is equal to negative 12. This negative 2 and that negative 6 together make positive 12. You can think a negative and a negative are going to cancel. And I'm going to bring down my negative 4x, and I'm going to bring down my equals negative 12 over there. I've got to do a two-step equation. I love two steps. So we are going to solve for the negative 4x, which means we need to get rid of the 12, so subtract it. Now I've got negative 24 on that side, bringing down that little extra x right there, and now I get to divide by it. So a negative over a negative is a positive. 24 divided by 4 is 6. So we got the coordinate here, positive 6, negative 6. So that was the point of intersection of these two lines. So how's this going to change today? Well, we're going to have to multiply both of them. So if I look at my x's and my y's, I think, how can I turn a 3 into a 5? And I can't. And then I go over here and go, well, how can I turn a 4 into a 9? And I can't. What I'm going to have to do is actually multiply both equations to their LCM. That's their least common multiple. So what I get to choose, do I want to eliminate x first or y first? And I am going to choose to eliminate y's. Now, it doesn't really matter which one you start with here, but I chose this one because they already have the opposite signs. You notice this one's positive and that one's negative, so I'm not going to have to do a bunch of negative multiplication. So let's talk about LCMs. Let's do a little side note over here. Most of this you're going to do in your brain as you get better at this, but if you need to show the work, please do. Let's think of our multiples of 4. Always start with the lowest number there. So we've got 4, then we've got 8, 3 times it is 12, after that we've got 16, after that we've got 20, then we've got 24, 28, 32, 36. That's where I'm going to stop, because I recognize 36 as also being a multiple of 9. Let's check that one out. 9, 18, 27, 36. So the least number that they have in common out of their multiples is 36. So I know that I need to make this into a 36, and I need to make this into a 36. But I can't just do what I did. I can't just change one step of that. I've got to actually change the entire equations. So let me get rid of that. We have to decide what we need to multiply by. So this one was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We had to multiply that one by 9. So 4 times 9 will make the 36 that I want. This one was 1, 2, 3, 4. So I need to multiply this 9 by 4. Again, the reason I went with the y's here is because I already had the positive negative. I'm not going to have to worry about that, so it's one less step later. So the entire top one here gets multiplied by 9. The entire bottom one over here gets multiplied by 4. And I'm going to rewrite these equations over here. So 9 times 5 is 45 x's. 9 times 4 is 36 y's, exactly what I wanted. And 9 times that negative 30 is the negative 270. Now I'm on the bottom one. I've got 4 times 3, which is 12x's. I've got 4 times negative 9, which is negative 36. It's looking perfect. And then I've got 4 times negative 18, which is negative 72. For the next step, I've already added my line and my addition, so I'm ready to go. So I've got this going, and I'm going to add them down. So I've got, excuse me, I did not change colors. There we go. I've got 45 plus 12, which is 57 x's. My y's cancel, positive, negative, same number. And then my negative 270 plus my negative 72 make negative 342. So I've got that one-step equation again, where I just need to divide by this 57, and I will have my answer. So do that math real quick in your calculator, and you get negative 6 out. So again, we're looking for this point of intersection right here. These two lines are going to hit each other, and I've got half of the answer there, negative 6. Now, we need to plug that back in to figure out the y value. But don't use these new problems. See how much bigger those numbers are? Go back to the original with the nice small numbers to save you some work. And you can pick the top one or the bottom one, doesn't matter. I'm going to pick the top one, a little bit less numbers. We've got 5x plus 4y is equal to negative 30. Again, I chose the top one, not this one. And I get that x is negative 6. So let's plug that in. So 5 times negative 6. Ooh, a little too far there. I apologize. 5 times negative 6 plus 4y equals negative 30. 5 and negative 6 make negative 30. And now we've got a two-step equation. So we're going to solve for the 4y by getting rid of the 30. This is a cool one because it cancels here, and this one is 0. So it really doesn't matter what I do next. When I divide, 0 divided by anything is 0. So my answer is x is negative 6, y is 0. Now, do you remember how to check this out? All you have to do is plug them back into here and make sure that works out. So does 5 times negative 6, you can do it really quickly in your calculator, plus 4 times 0, does that equal negative 30? And if you check it in your calculator, it does. And then you can do the same for the bottom one here. We need it to work for both of them. So 3 times negative 6 minus 9 times 0. Does that equal negative 18? And yes, it does. So we get 2 checks there, so we know this is the answer. Again, that was the point of intersection for those two equations. So let's try out a new problem. We're on the back page of the notes now. There's not too many on these notes. You pretty much know how to do this. We're just adding one new step to it. And this one, I just want to show you that you don't always have to eliminate y first. You can eliminate x first as well. Another thing this problem does is it shows you that you don't have to just multiply them by each other. You might have thought that with the last one, that because we multiplied, let me go back to it real quick, because we ended up multiplying this 9 by that 4 and this 4 by that 9. That will work every time, but you don't have to do that trick. So again, I decide which one I want to eliminate. I'm going to eliminate this x. So I've got a negative 4 and a negative 10. So we need to decide about their multiples. So I've got 4, I've got 8, I've got 12, I've got 16, I've got 20. Wait a second, 20 is a multiple of 10. So I've got 10, I've got 20. We already know which one it is, 20. That means I need to multiply this one by 2. I need to multiply this one by 5. That was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 4 times 5 was 20. Another check you need to do is I've got 2 negatives this time. I want a positive and a negative. I usually like to throw the negative into the bottom one. You could have also done it to the top one. So now this negative 2 is going to cancel with that negative and make that one a positive 20, while this one up here is going to be the negative 20. Let me show you what I mean. Here we go. We're going to multiply by the 5. So I've got negative 20x, I've got negative 10y, and I've got 14 times 5, which is 70. Now on the bottom, negative 2 times negative 10 is positive 20x. That's what we were looking for. Negative 2 times 7 is going to be negative 14, so we get more negatives there. But it cancels here. Negative 2 and negative 25 is positive 50. All right, we are ready for elimination, so let's go for it. Add them together. X's cancel. Positive, negative, same thing. Negative 10 and negative 14 y's make negative 24 y's. And 70 plus 50 is 120. Let's go ahead and divide that by our negative 24, and we will have the answer, which is 5. Well, not just 5, though. Negative 5. We have half the answer. We've got what y is. So we've got the second part of the coordinate. Remember, x and then y. So let's pick an equation to plug that into to find the other part. Let's see. Top one, bottom one. I'm going to go with the top one again. A little bit lower numbers. So we've got negative 4x minus 2y is equal to 14. But this y is going to be replaced with what we know y is. So if you're like, where did I get that? I went back to the original. Remember, I went back to the original because these are much bigger numbers. So I've really got negative 4x plus 10 equals 14. Take a second to think about that. I took this 2 and times it by that 5, and they were both negative, so they became positive. I should probably put my y in there, though. Oh, just kidding. Did not need that, because I already put in my y. I thought I lost it. But this 2 times that negative 5 now. There's no y there anymore. Let's solve the two-step equation. Subtract your 10. I've got negative 4x then is equal to 4. Divide by your negative 4, and x equals negative 1. So x is negative 1, y is negative 5. You've got 2 more problems left on this page. If you want to pause the video and try them all on your own, please do. Just make sure you check your answers before you move on. If you want to stay here and listen to the rest, keep going. So again, we've got to decide which one I want to cancel. I'm going to go back to y. I really like when they're already positive and negative, and that means I don't have to do so much work. Now, you can go through all your multiples of 8 and 9, but they're actually the smallest multiple is when you multiply 8 by 9 and 9 by 8. So the smallest thing they have in common is actually 72. So here we go. We're going to multiply the top one by 9 and the bottom one by 8 and see what we get. 9 times 7 is negative 63x. 9 and that 8 make negative 72y. And 9 and 9 make 81. In the bottom, 8 and negative 4 make negative 32. 8 and 9 make that 72 we were looking for. And 8 and negative 22 make negative 176. We're ready to eliminate. So they cancel down. Then we've got the negative 63 added to the negative 32. That makes negative 95 x's. And then we've got 81 plus the negative 176. I'm looking right here. And that is equal to negative 95 as well. This is an easy one. Divide by your 95. Make sure you get the negative in there. And x is equal to 1. So half of our answer is done. X is 1. We still got to find the y. So go back to your original. Figure out which one you want to do. I'm going to go with the second one this time. So I'm going to go over here. Change my color so you can see it fresh. We've got negative 4x plus 9y is equal to negative 22. We're going to plug in what we just found for x right there. So I took the second equation. Could have chose the first one if I wanted to. Chose the second one instead. So negative 4 times the 1 is negative 4 still. Plus 9y equals negative 22. So two-step equation, solve for the y by getting rid of the 4 first. We're at negative 18 then, equals 9y. Divide by that 9, and y equals negative 2. Last one to go. So I've got double negatives here, double positives here. So let's switch it up and eliminate the x's first. So the smallest thing that 3 and 5 have in common, if you need to go over here and do your LCM, please do. So let's try it out. LCM again is least common multiple. We've got 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. That's a multiple of 5. So to get there, we had 5, 10, 15. So we have to multiply the 5 by 3 and the 3 by 5. So just like the last one, we multiplied them by each other. That doesn't happen every single time. One last check. I'm getting positive 15 and positive 15. I don't want that. So I'm going to throw in the negative. I like to do it in the bottom. So we've got 15x minus 10y is equal to 10. So that was 5 times 3, 5 times 2, and 5 times 2 again. In the bottom one, I'm going to multiply everything by negative 3. So I've got negative 15x, positive 15y equals negative 30. So that was negative 3 times 5, negative 3 times negative 5, and negative 3 times 10. Time for elimination. We're ready to go. So we're going to add these together. My x's cancel. I get negative 10 and 15 make 5y's still. 10 and negative 30 make negative 20. Divide by your 5, and you got that y is negative 4. So x and then y, so we found the second part, negative 4. Now let's use that to solve for the second part. Let me get rid of this work over here. Choose your favorite equation. I'm going to go with the top one. 3x minus 2y is equal to 2. I know that y is negative 4. So I really have 3x minus 2 times negative 4 equals 2. Do some quick math right there. Negative 2 and negative 4 make positive 8. It's a two-step equation. Subtract your 8. And 3x is equal to negative 6. That got a little sloppy right here. This was a 2. Subtracted 8. So 2 minus 8 is negative 6. I think my minus sign got swallowed there. Divide by your 3, and x is equal to negative 2. So let's go over here, finish this out. So the final answer here was negative 2, negative 4. And there you go. That is the point of intersection of those two lines, wherever they might be.